Now that we've gone over the basics to a resume, I wanted to provide you with some examples of resumes that I've done for some clients. Now, these are real people who have incredible experience in a variety of different areas. So, this particular person has experience in both the criminal justice field and they are a BOCES alum, which is awesome, as well as customer service. What we're trying to do is provide a general resume demonstrating their transferable skills. You can see that we've identified their profile as detail oriented, organized, and responsible. A team player excited to leverage professional experience and customer service to advance the work and mission of your organization. Here are some of their skills and competencies, again demonstrating some of those high level skills that employers look for. Their education and training is here, and then we have their professional experience. Here's another person who works in the financial management sector. We're highlighting a profile. Who is this person? What can an employer potentially see in a very short period of time, maybe without even looking at their cover letter? Then what are their skills and competencies? And when you get specific into a certain area, you can start to use acronyms. So you see that there's FDCPA, TCPA, and SCRA right here. Those are all federal laws regarding finances and collections. This person's a little bit more seasoned in their career. They're looking to move into a lateral management position as an operations manager. Their career accomplishments are highlighted here. So what are those tangible and measurable accomplishments that we can provide? The best piece of advice I can give you is, as you're authoring your duties underneath each of your experiences, what are the things that you can show that demonstrate your success in that area? And you can do that by quantifying. So things like percentages or raw numbers are really, really helpful in that area. Earlier in the first part of this presentation, I mentioned that you can sometimes alter the title of your job description or your job position to make sure that it's universally understandable. So for example, this particular client had the title of assistant operations manager, but was really the operations manager. So we talked about, what title gives the best representation of the duties and expectations that they had in that role, and it was operations manager. Here's another example, a profile, education. Here's some scholarly activities. So this is a college student, a recent college graduate. Software proficiencies. So let's say you are interested in graphic design. It's a really exceptional place to be able to put some of your graphic design skills or computer programming. If you use certain computer programming languages, let's say you're multilingual, it's a great place to also highlight under a certain heading, something like languages, where you would put what languages you're multilingual in. Your employment experience. I like to have a section for student leadership as a high school student and as a college student, your awards and honors, and then any formal training you have. This particular person has a degree in biology, so they have a lot of lab-related training. They're applying for PA school, so they really wanted to highlight their strong science background. Here's one more. This is an operations executive, someone who has some really strong skills in the budget management and operations of a business, but they also took some really neat assessments on Indeed, and I wanted to highlight those for them in addition to their other trainings. Now, they did not complete their degree, and that's totally okay. What we were able to do is highlight that they had coursework in business administration, and we indicated the years that they attended the college that they did. We also highlighted the coursework that they successfully completed during that time was relevant to the positions that they had. What I'd like to do now is work with you to start to write a sample resume. And we're not going to format this in any particular special way like you've seen on some of the samples that I've showed you, but I want to really talk about content. So when we do content, we always start with our contact information. So you do not need to include your street address. Your city and state and zip code are totally fine. You'll include the best number to contact you at, and then you'll include your email address. Now let's think about that rewrite your resume document that you saw a few minutes ago in the last presentation, and what are the areas that we should be highlighting? I always do like to start with a profile. Sometimes I like to highlight skills and competencies. And I typically start by going through what are the sections that I need to include. Education is very important to include. In your case, you might also want to include internship experience toward the top if it's relevant to your future career path or major in college or continuing technical education. From what your program directors tell me, you're all heavily involved, so let's have a section on student leadership. And we'll combine that with community involvement. So things that may be outside of school or tangential to school, for example, if you are an altar server at your church or leader of your youth group or volunteer for Relay for Life, something of that nature. And it's not necessarily associated with school. It's a really great place to put it. So let's start to build out what the profile is. Let's pretend that I am a high school student and I am interested in a degree in education. So I'm going to say I'm dedicated, highly motivated student leader with passion for educational access and equity. Experienced tutor and club. Let's not do that. Experienced tutor and let's just say experienced tutor with commitment to supporting different learning styles. Now I'm interested in education and maybe I'm applying for a job as a tutor on care.com. Maybe that's kind of where we'll take this. Excited to leverage prior knowledge and skills to support the learning and advancement of youth, of students in need of additional support in the subject areas of English and social studies. There's your profile. Now, what are your skills and competencies? So let's say learning inventories. Tutoring is a competency that you have. Let's say the Google Suite is a competency that you have. So Gmail, Drive, Sheets, Docs, Slides, all of those things. And let's say you're not usually going to put the Microsoft Office suite, but then let's say that you also manage the social media account for your Clever organization, social media, and let's say you do it on Instagram. This is and Snapchat and TikTok. Now, don't put social media if the only way that you use social media is for your personal life. All right, now let's do education. We're going to pretend like I go to Herkimer High School. It's in Herkimer, New York, with an advanced Regents diploma. We're going to put our graduation year is June 2021. And let's say we're at Herkimer BOCES. Well, you want to get an advanced Regents diploma if you were at Herkimer BOCES. I don't think that you would have time to do that, but let's see. Herkimer BOCES, Herkimer, New York. And we're going to say completion certificate in, let's say cosmetology. And we're going to also get that in June 2021. Now here we have our internship experience. So maybe we interned at 123 Tutoring Services LLC in Utica, New York, and we were a tutor intern. Let's put our dates of May 2020 to present. We're going to make sure that all that goes on the same line and that these are all adjusted on the same line down here. We're going to format this after. And then let's do our duties, right? So as a tutor intern, we educate students in grades 5 through 9 on New York State Regents material in social studies and English. Let's say that you earned a 90% pass rate on all New York State Regents exams, or your 2 T's earned. So you're going to say to earn an average of 90% pass rate on all New York State Regents exams. Maybe you facilitate lessons, hour-long lessons, and maybe because of COVID, you've gone virtual too, so you have experience both in person and virtually that highlight and reinforce classroom delivered content. And maybe for 123 Tutoring Services, you've been recognized as Tutor of the Month 3 times. Now let's look at your student leadership and community involvement. So let's say at Herkimer High School in Herkimer, New York, you are captain of the women's volleyball team. And you've been captain for the last year. So that would be probably what, October 2020 to present. And you were also a member of the women's volleyball team up until then. Let's say October 2018 to present, right? Now, as captain, do you host captains' practices, maybe 2 per week? To assist folks in skill development.